law in terms of investment. So investors like to invest in company because the investment are protected up to the amount of capital they contributed as. Okay. Other than that, the company is a separate person. So now imagine, in law, the company is a separate entity from the owner. Now for big listed company, you have diverse range of owners. You can have the individual, you can have companies, you can have foreign investors, you can have government. You cannot let all these people run the business. So you need to actually, the shareholders now need to agree on how to run the business on their behalf. So they need to elect a group of professional people, to run the business on their behalf. These are what we call, these people are the board members, the board of directors. Now you will actually delegate the power to manage the business to these people, to this board. So there is a separation of control now. Because you, the owner, are not in the business on day-to-day basis because you have delegated the power to manage the business on behalf to these board members. So this board member has the control now on what to do, on how best to run the business. So you have this clause, separation of control, which is not enjoyed by partnership, which is no problem with partnership, no problem with sole proprietorship. So you have here two now. Jauh pula buatnya. Mana tadi? You have so you have the shareholders, and then you have the company. So you elect board of director, and you transfer control to this board to manage. Now they have full power on how to actually manage the company now. So you are the owner, but you're not running the business. So you are the principal in this case. You have elected an agent to run the business on your behalf. This is the agent. So you have a principal-agent relationship, agency relationship. Now the problem is, kalau agent obedient, macam robot, follow whatever you say here. Of course, the board is controlled by the major shareholders here. But of course, sometimes they have their own mind. If you are a board member, so that's what happens. When you are up there, you tend to forget everything else. That's what happened during the financial crisis 2007-2008. All these big banks think that they own the banks, the board members, but the banks are owned by shareholders. But they think they own the bank, they can do whatever they want with the banks. So when something happens, they can actually, it's not, I'm sorry, so they do. But who actually bear the losses? Not the board, but the principals. Right? That's why you must watch this movie. I think promoter you are. You must watch Inside Job. Inside Job. It's a good documentary about the financial crisis. We talk about the problem of this agency problem a lot, where the big bosses of Wall Street banks, they actually done all these problems, they created all these problems, but they actually do not want to take responsibility on that. And all the problems went to the shareholders here. Right? So our concern here, when we do all this corporate finance, basically, we want to reduce the problem between the principal and agent. Imagine now, the board members now, they have their own interests. For example, when you are, I'm the chairman, I'm the CEO, I'm the executive director of this and that and so on. I want all these perks. Yeah, I want to have, you'd be surprised. In the US, for example, yeah, the one CEO actually, dia datang kerja, naik lift, goes up to the top floor, penthouse dia, balik, turun balik lift, ada kereta tunggu, and then go off. He never actually mingle around with the employees. They think they own the business, but they're not. Right? So therefore, we are scared that there is a misalignment, divergence, we call this, of interest between these two parties because they want to enrich themselves at the expense of the company, right? While the principal just can't do anything, just look, ni, kita tak bayar dividend lagi lah and so on. Reason why? Oh, we want to have sizable return earning to finance our expansion later on. So not get anything, but yet they have all the luxury here. So therefore, we have that agency problem. So our concern now is how to reduce this agency problem, this aspect of agency problem. Ya, kita sudah terlambat ini ya. So we want to reduce the agency problem. How? The concern for us now, what are the ways that principal can do to reduce agency problems so that there will be no gap between the interests of these two parties, so that the agent and the principal will have one mind on how to maximize the value of the firm. So we talk about control mechanism now. Yeah, so you must remember that the thing is, why kenapa agency problem laku? Your answer will be, there is a separation of control first. Right? That's why the agency problem happened. Okay, so therefore you need to look at what are the control mechanism that you have. So you can read all this. Okay, there is a contract lah sepatutnya between the agent and the principal. So of course this is again So hypothetical organization. Okay, this is the chart. Board of directors is the highest management level. Yeah. Okay. So the board is actually headed by the chairman, and the chairman in Malaysia and the UK practices, they are not the same person. Only in the US. Bukan ni pakai US lah kadang kan. Sebab tu nampak chairman the board they are the two separate person. Chairman dulu baru CEO. Chairman can sack CEO. CEO cannot sack chairman. Chairman is the face of the organization. So your ITM is not the VC. The face is the chairman, Datuk Syed Zainal. Is the face of your ITM. Anything happen to your ITM, Datuk Syed Zainal kena answer dulu. It's not VC. Datuk Zainal can get information from the VC. Tak faham VC, they can sack the board, can sack the VC. Sebab VC is political, it's not good. Right? So this is the thing, so you have, of course, you just focus on the finance side lah, So basically, board, of course, once they have power, there they can elect the management to run the business on a day-to-day basis. So that's why you have all these financial director, IT director, and so on. Those come later on, but the directors come first. The board come first, and the chairman, CEO, and so on. Okay, so these are these are the reason why. So here factors that contribute to agent may be due to following causes: moral hazard. So here, because imagine now if you are an agent, you do not own the company, right? Now if you have two, dalam buku Ross tu bagus sebagai example, because you have two person A and B. A work for the company as an employee. B is the owner that come, is also employee of the firm. The owner come like a worker. Now imagine now, if you are employee just like us here, we do not want to work hard as much as the owner, right? Maybe our contract is for 8 hours kind of thing, work, then you can go home. You don't want to work additional hours unless you're being compensated. But if you are worker come owner, you tend to work harder because your future depends on the business. If you don't work hard, then the business will go down, you don't have anything to live on. Isn't it? Right? So therefore, when we talk about moral hazard, we understand agent, they are not owner of the business. They have this, they have incentive, they have motivation to get as much as possible from the business to enrich themselves. Okay? Because they have no shares. Effort level, ni dah sebut tadi, you are simply, I'm just a worker here. If I'm not happy, I can leave the company and work for other companies. So there's no sense of loyalty. Sebab dia marah, you tak ada loyalty are you? But that is a fact. Right? So earning retention, manager prefer to grow the company, increase sales and turnover rather than to increase return. Now, for managers, they have this what we call nak kata not problem lah, tendency lah, to create empire. Managers, the term we use is little Napoleon. Right? They try to increase their power base in the business. If you have, for example, manager A, B, buat portfolio, kalau portfolio B ni lebih besar compared to A, then you say, oh, B have more power than A. But that is not important for the owner. And like I said, the owner at the end of the day, they want to see how much value is being created in terms of cash net inflow, this kind of view. So managers, we are human beings, we tend to actually we like to become more powerful, have more authority in the organization. Why? Because it's a human nature. You really have power, you have all these glory things to show, so you tend to be happy. So you're talking about this, the bigger the company. That's why you see the big company besar, tak ada buat gain banyak sangat. Why? Just survive like that. But not really excel. What comes bigger? So risk aversion, sometimes managers, ini semua ni create agency problem. Because when you set up business, you need to take risk. If you want to create a competitive advantage, you need to increase. You need to do things differently from your other competitors. Otherwise, you will follow the leader kind of strategy. Right? So therefore, you need to be different. That's why, some managers, they are reluctant to invest in high risk projects. You know why? There are many reasons. Maybe they don't want to take high risk. They don't know how to manage the business. If something happens to the business, they will lose their job and so on. So therefore, they tend to actually avoid this, avoid themselves from taking high. But sometimes you need to do this, right? Because you need to actually propel the company ahead of your competitors. So you need to take risk. Time horizon, of course, I mentioned just now, short term is for managers and of course for them. So therefore now, in order to reduce the agency problem, we need to actually incur agency costs from the shareholders, owners perspective. So therefore, we talk about all this. Agency costs don't exist. These are for the sole proprietor and partnership. Normally we don't have, or family-owned company. Normally we don't have big agency problem.
As we know that now, a lot of quite number of listed companies, they have this what they call this resource employee share option scheme. I think that one is also one way how they manage the agency costs.
I will talk about that later on. You have jumped the gun. So we will talk about how to reduce this agency cost. One of the, of course, is good to have that resource. Right. other things that I want to mention, Doctor? That's what you want to mention about the ESOP, right? The share option scheme
Yeah, right.
for the directors. Yes, that's a good way on how to reduce the scheme. Here I'm just highlighting why the agency problem happened. Yeah. So here, nampak, shareholders are not directors. Okay, in large company where there are many shareholders and large professional management, the same thing that I mentioned to you just now. Now, of course, here there are costs now. Okay, so we talk about cost of monitoring and cost of here can be done into direct and indirect costs. Direct cost of monitoring here. Now, the reason why we need to prepare all the financial report, for example, right? All the internal report, whatever necessary, is to actually take an effort. There's a system implemented in the business to reduce agency problem. When you report, actually, so this is what happened. So you know how the company is being managed. Are the agents doing a good job or not? So that's why we need to have that report. So when the report becomes compulsory, therefore the owner will know the health or the welfare of the company, how the company is being run. So in terms of profit loss, balance sheet and so on. So we get information about this. But of course, those information are quite distant in the sense that you get only once a year, or if company is published, you get almost every quarter now, 4 quarters now. But again, we still not there. We're not in the company still, right? So therefore, we have that, and of course here we have this remuneration package. Yes, we need to have that board actually for the non-executive members to form a remuneration committee to look on how we should be paying the wages, the salaries, and the bonuses and the perk for our directors. Okay, so here we talk about this later on in a way, and of course, cost implementing control devices, set of contracts. These are the contract between you and directors, and of course, contracts for director ada macam-macam lah. What is your job scope? What are your responsibilities? Those also should be binding lah, in terms of the relationship. Hiring of non-executive. In the past, we don't have non-executive directors in the board, all executive directors. That's why you have all the problems, scandals in the past. But today, we need to have a well-balanced board. In the sense that we must have a good composition of board in terms of executive and non-executive. The reason we hire non-executive is to provide check and balance, to become what we call the devil's advocate, asking the hard question on the executive directors.